finally got an interview for the dream job. And after working with him, I got it, and it was simple and it was easy.
Yeah, I've really enjoyed the journey.
Has it helped? Yes, it absolutely has. It's definitely helped in knowing the market a lot better and knowing how to put myself out there. Like, I would never ever have touched my LinkedIn ever. I didn't see LinkedIn as a valuable resource at all. Yes. So in saying that, it already has proven to be.
Really what I say. I think you guys are great and change people's lives, and it makes a lot of difference.
You deliver at a very high level.
It was really enjoyable. You learn a lot. It was really easy going step by step.
Questions before when they do. So that was, I think session 5, the interview session, if you ask me, was my favorite out of all the 6 sessions.
So it's not only helped me in my personal branding, but it's helped me now on the business side, where I feel very, very capable to go into,
Hey, super legends, superheroes, and superstars. My name's Dre, and welcome back to another episode of Hot Hire Coaches on Fire. We are absolutely going to tear it up. We're going to rip it up, and I am super excited today because I've got one of my favorite humans, one of the favorite guys in the world. This guy he's just a genuine good guy who's helping as many people as possible. And before I introduce him and get him out, there might be a little bit of tech issues. So we've got quite a lot of rain here, and I think there might be a bit of a lag. So we are live on YouTube, live on Facebook, and live on LinkedIn. So if you have any questions for myself or even my next guest, Alex, please put them in the chat. And if you're watching the replay, you know what to do. #replay. This will help me and the back end to work out all the stats. Something really exciting. So I have been lucky enough to have access to do video podcasts on Spotify. So with this podcast, this is going to be video on Spotify in the next few days. All right. So without any further ado, Alex Cheong he's got an incredible story, and where in the last few years, he's kind of lost everything, and then he's built that back up, and he is just killing it in coaching at the moment. He's been a great friend to me, both personally, both professionally, and he's helped me with my business as well. So let's get this superstar out here. I want to give a big, massive, warm welcome to my main man, Alex. How are you?
Hey, Dr. Dre, good to be here. Doing amazing, thanks.
Yeah, thanks, bro. All right, so do you want to tell us, because we've had like quite a few chats and like your story, what you've been through, and man, I'm just so excited to talk to you today and about everything that you do. So do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do?
Yeah, great question, Dre. So currently I am a mindset and business coach. I'm in the niche of just helping young adults unleash their true power so that they can level up. For me, this is really reflects back on where I'm in life and how I've had to level up as well, especially with the last few years being in Melbourne. Sort of leads on to my backstory of how I lost my whole business, being in Melbourne. I was in events. So my background is actually in events and entertainment industry. And unfortunately, due to the current pandemic, overnight, I was actually about to run a retreat. So I used to run corporate events, all these things, but I was about to run a retreat with a business partner, and I got a phone call saying, hey, Melbourne shut down. So overnight, I just had to really use the word pivot, but I really had to. And it just changed my whole life. And on top of that, unfortunately, it was a painful lesson, but I ended things with a long-term girlfriend. And then on top of that, my dad passed away as well. So you could see it was like a lot of lessons for me in terms of life at a very, not just young age, but in a space of like a year, like my whole world just flipped around, and it definitely humbled me a lot. So it helped me work on the ego side of things, the shadow work, and it made me realize life is a balance and a concept of duality, where there's darkness, there's going to be light, where there's happiness, or in order to appreciate happiness, you need to go through levels of sadness. And for me, that was like a big, big blessing, because it's given me such a powerful why into why I do the things I do today, and really able to help people out from a heart space, but from the ground up. Because for me right now is I'm starting from the ground up. But the good thing is my mindset is I'm not starting fresh because I've had experience. So for me, that's where I'm at currently.
I love that. And how did you get into the coaching? So you went through your journey, and where did the coaching aspect come into it?
Yeah, great question. So we'll actually go back to a bit of time. We'll go back to the early days, because I actually did the normal path. So my parents, being Asian, go get a law degree, go get a doctor degree, all that stuff. I went to uni, pleased them, did all that stuff. And funny enough, though, I actually just really evolved and grew as a person. I actually started off being introverted. I was actually never really out there much, but I challenged myself a lot, and I put myself out there and somehow managed to network my way into running private school formal events. So I was at uni, I was 19. I read a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and it totally evolved my mindset of really understanding about the concept of life, how systems are broken. Well, the school system, essentially, how, you're taught to get a good job, get good grades, go to school, become an employee, work for 40 years, and pay taxes, etc. But for me, being a black sheep of the family, I really had a different mindset. I really thought that, life is short and there's so much more to it. So I took a lot of risks when I was 18, 19. I started running, just small events, and it grew really quickly. So there was nights where I was able to turn over like 5 figures at 18, 19. I couldn't believe it, but it was just the mindset side of things at a really young age. And then from there, it led me to bigger opportunities, like, being on TV, entertainment, touring, DJs and celebrities and stuff. But unfortunately, because in alignment, like for me, I'm someone that values definitely, growth, contribution, and spirituality. That's who I am as a person. And I could feel deep down inside there was a disalignment, because I don't drink, and you're out in the event scene, and it wasn't serving me the way it should be. So I knew deep down inside there was definitely a disalignment, and it sort of led me into the spiritual path of studying about, breath work, prana. My dad was a Taoist, so I studied about, Wu Wei, concepts like that, and also Confucianism, all these really spiritual things, and also Analects and Chinese Eastern mythologies. And it really helped someone out as well, because unfortunately, when Dad passed away, I had to take a lot of time out. I lost my events business, and I had to do a lot of healing myself. And it led me into this path of going, you know what? I finally found my key guy, you know what I mean? And I had to reverse engineer everything, but I realized this is my passion. This is my purpose. And I literally I used to do a lot of pro bono work, and I helped a lot of, like, when I was at uni, I mentored and I tutored and I coached. But after all that happened to me, I stepped into my power, and I realized this is like my passion and purpose. And I just started helping people individually. One of my success stories, one of my guys who was like 23, hated his corporate job. I actually met him at the bank, and he was my banker at the time, and we just spoke, really connected well. And then fast forward to 12 months, 6 months, he got out of his corporate job and was able to start his own e-commerce business, and now makes 6 figures. So for me, I'm just super proud of him. And it sort of gives me a lot of, what's the right word? I would say a lot of heart that my work is working for him as well. And all the stuff that I've learned is in paying forward to him is also working as well. So, and he wants to pay it back as well. So it's really heartwarming for me to do that.
I love that. Helping people help people. All right. So my question, so you mentioned that you're the black sheep of your family, and you are very entrepreneurial. So where did that come from? So 19 years old. I remember when I was 19, I was not thinking about, making money. I was thinking about, just going out, maybe drinking, doing drugs, all that sort of thing, like having a good time. I wasn't thinking Yeah. So where does that come from? Was it someone else in your family, or you maybe just read the Rich Dad Poor Dad, other books, or where did that come from?
Yeah, great question there, Dre. I essentially did have a pretty good mindset when I was young. Like I always challenged myself, but until I read that book and also like meeting the right people at the right time. So for me, when I was at uni, I just connected with a lot of people that were pretty outgoing and also had that mindset of wanting to make, like for me, I wasn't born in a wealthy family. Like my parents, migrated from Malaysia and Singapore, and we didn't have much. So for me, I knew that in order for me to create the life of my dreams, I had to work hard. I had to work really hard and just, utilize what I learned through school. Unfortunately, I knew the school system was broken at a very young age. So I knew I had to just become a business owner or just make my dreams become a reality. And at that age, unfortunately, I wasn't quite sure because I didn't have the teachings and the guidings that, that were taught from a young age. My dad was always busy working. I think it was about probably around last year of uni, I actually got introduced to a guy called Tony Robbins, and that's when my whole world exploded. So my life of personal development and spirituality really evolved from there. So, and it sort of led me into this path of what I'm doing now for sure. So that was probably the aha moment where I was like, wow, life is like, no matter what life throws at me, I realized that, and this might sound woo-woo, but the universe does have my back, because no matter what's happened, something like, even if I've lost my business, even if I've lost a relationship, something positive has come out of it. And that's my mindset moving forward as well. So I feel blessed in that, as much as the struggles I've had, it's also given me the strength and the awareness into, I needed it at that time to give me the strength to keep going and to really keep impacting, because that is my mission and that is my why, and to do the things I do today.
Somebody call MC Hammer, because you are nailing it each time. All right. So with your clients, so I know that you've got mixed clients who are quite young, like up and coming. Are there any common sort of themes, patterns, challenges, or things that you see with them? Are they all, is it like mindset? Is it something else? Or
yeah, great question there, Dre. Yeah, so predominantly most of my clients, I've got a client as young as I think 21, but I've also got clients older than me, like about 40, even 50. But predominantly they are around the 20 and 30 year age. And there's a common pattern that I recognize, and even for myself, and this is something that I wrote in my upcoming ebook. Essentially, it sort of led me into this purpose path of really understanding what your values are, what your beliefs are, what are your fears, what are your power virtues. And then obviously once you understand this and you can overcome your traumas, you really have a really common purpose, okay? And you can really figure out what your passions are. And that's how I find my key guy as well. Because, obviously for me, I'm someone that values contribution, growth, okay? I love to help people. I love to serve others. And I'm such a personal development junkie. So for me, this is my perfect, occupation and key guy. And for me, I guess I do live and breathe this, but it also doesn't feel like work sometimes. So it's a blessing. That's what I'll say.
That is the key. All right. So if there's anybody watching that are thinking, oh man, I love this Alex guy, I want to work with him. Like, what's the best way for, do you have different programs, or how do people get hold of you? How do they work with you?
Yeah, for sure. So right now I do have an 8-week program, and it actually goes through the mindset stuff. So I initially started off being a mindset coach, but obviously as my business takes off, I'm getting a lot of young guys earning like 10K within 90 days. So moving forward, it will be more business coaching. But to get we started, as we know, it is 80% mindset. Everything we do in life is all about mindset, whether it be business, whether it be, even relationships and stuff, understanding how to really help people out. And then from there, it's 20% strategies and mechanics of how to get them and lead them into getting their results as well. So that's where I'm definitely heading towards.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you for sharing. And then tell us about, I know that you've done quite a bit of, personal development. So do you have, like a favorite? So I know that we're in the same mastermind, which I am just so bloody excited about, because something that I've got to commend you on. You go above and beyond for people. I know that, and you've also when we catch up and the conversations that we have, and I know that you're just coming from a place of love, from a good place. So yeah, thank you. I appreciate you.
No, thank you.
So yeah, so do you have sorry. Yeah, do you have a favorite? Is there a Brendan Burchard, Tony Robbins, anybody like that?
Yeah, great question. So I started off in the Tony world, but as I'm evolving as well, and for me, spirituality is the ultimate goal for me. Like, throughout whatever's happened, whether it be the loss of, your family member, a loss of a relationship, for me, I'm in a really grateful position where I am at peace. And for me, it all comes back down to love. Do things that you love, because that is one of the highest frequencies. And from there, you can really attract the right type of people that you want in your tribe, because your vibe does really attract your tribe, as we know. And then from there, it's I'm a big fan of Dr. Joe Dispenza as well. I love like quantum physics, quantum healing, guys that really help you out on a really spiritual level and a deep down from a heart-centered space is where I'm at. And, I'm really passionate about understanding about Taoism, because that's where my dad comes from. Understanding about karma, cause and effect is just everything as well. Even with what's happening around the world, there's just a lot of things happening. But for me, it was actually ultimately about keeping my focus as well. And I think once I really stepped into this business of coaching and consulting, I've really regained my passion and purpose and focus. And I've actually got to thank Catherine for that. She was the one that led me into this path and led me into this elite mastermind. So I'm super grateful she's watching by any chance. Yeah.
Love Catherine. All right. So say if there's, people that may be listening, maybe people that are watching, and they're going through, like a tough time, similar to what, what you've been through, what I've been through. Do you have any advice, or maybe, I think the hardest thing is for people to actually start and to put your hand up and say, look, I need help. So I know with me, it would have been like my ego, and maybe I know a lot of people. So I've got lots of connections, lots of friends, but then in my circle, I've got like a really, really small circle. And it's hard for me, or it has been hard for me, to actually say, hey guys, I need some help. Can you help? So my question, do you have any advice for anyone that might be going through that at the moment? Or
Yeah, that was powerful there, Dre. Great question, because, this is something that I also share with my group of guys as well, because, as guys, and we had to go through this ourselves, the concept of duality of, ego, shadow, dark light, etc. is, there's actually a lot of confidence or strength about being vulnerable. And that is the biggest thing as guys, because it was just so much ego about, being strong, not crying and all these things. But ultimately, if you can be vulnerable, guys, it shows how strong and confident you actually are, because the more vulnerable you are, you can actually connect with people on a more deeper level. And that is where there's no surface, Obviously, as you get to know people, there's always the fun side of things. But then, as you get to know people, like for us, we're sort of delving into more serious topics now, because, we've gotten aside of all the fun stuff. We're still fun people, but deep down inside, we've got a lot more. It's like an onion, different layers and surfaces of people. And then as you go deeper and deeper, you get more into someone as who they really are. Like identity work is so important. And I'm doing that right now with my core group, understanding their values, their belief systems. What are their fears? What are their power virtues? What drives you? And understanding your missions, your value statements, all these things that really harness you into doing what you really love. And if you do things with passion and purpose, you're going to succeed, because your why is so strong. We do things. Why do we do things and all that? So for me, it was really understanding. For me, I really had to seek help as well, because I got to a stage where there was just so much loss and trauma. It was pretty quick. It just happened like that. And, I wouldn't say being on top of the world, but for me at the stage of my life, I was, loving life, because I had everything. I had so much abundance at the time. I was creating a really big business, and I had a lot of, choices. And then just overnight, things came crashing down. And I would say that was as much as was a big, a lot of loss and a lot of lessons. Okay. I also found blessings in that. It made me realize and say, hey, you know what? Life is short. Make the most of it right now, especially, while we can. Because as we've seen the last 2 years, the whole world has changed. But once again, it depends where your mindset and your focus is. So, to go back to what you're saying in terms of being able to reach for help is so important, because we don't, even as a coach ourselves, we've got multiple 6-7 figure coaches that we align with every day, because there's no ego with us. We don't know everything. We're probably just 1 or 2 or 3 steps ahead of our clients, and we can able to really guide them. Because for me personally, like you said, we've had so many soulful lessons and wisdom, and then obviously having a clear path of how to get people into getting the outcomes they want is where a lot of our strength comes from as well.
Man, I'm loving this conversation. All right, so a couple more questions to go. So the best way to reach out to you, is it on your link tree? Is it on Facebook? Is it on LinkedIn or like Instagram, TikTok? Like where? MySpace, Twitter.
MySpace. So predominantly, I just use Facebook for now, guys. Yeah, feel free to reach out to me. I really am here to serve, and I'm happy to offer any free clarity calls or anything that you guys need. There's a link, I'm sure, Dre, you can post it up just to my Facebook. Feel free to reach out, guys. I'm here to, for me, my mission, to go back to what you're saying, is a lot of the stuff I went through took a lot of healing, and it comes back to even my father, because I love him to pieces. It's actually nearly 2 years anniversary. And for me, I'm grateful because he showed me how much of a caring dad he was, but then it also showed me like the stuff that I needed to become or improve on as a person, as a child, as a son, as a father as well, eventually. And my point here is that, my greater mission is actually to introduce these concepts of, personal development, NLP. We both studied this. I've done theta healing, breath work, all these modalities. I believe that the school system should really teach these, because the kids right now, they're struggling. I speak to a lot of young adults, as you know, and I believe the world needs this, because if we all choose to live at cause, there wouldn't be as many struggles as we feel. Because once you take extreme ownership of who we are as people, of our actions, of our behaviors, then I believe the world will be a better place. So that's, for me, one of the most powerful things that I learned through the last 2 years as well.
Oh, chills. You're giving me chills. Stop it. All right. So very last question. So that I'm absolutely obsessed with dad jokes. So do you have a dad joke, a quote, something inspirational, something motivational, something empowering, something of value that you would like to leave us with? What have you got?
Okay. So I know you are the dad joke king, Dr. Dre, without the doctor, but this is like a funny story. I don't know if it's real, but I'll just say, so I met a girl, and I asked her on a date, and I asked her to meet me at the gym, but unfortunately she never showed up. I guess the two of us aren't going to work out.
Oh.
I got it from you. But yeah, on a serious note, like I mentioned, to sum up everything, life, even though life is short, have fun, really have fun, guys, and make the most of it. Really do the things you love. That's all I'll say. If you choose to live with love and passion, you are going to do amazing things. That's all I know. And I'm seeing it for myself, because, from starting from the bottom up, now being able to create, multiple 5 and 6, it's going to get there. So I'm just so excited. So super grateful for you too, Dre.
Started from the bottom, now we're here. Started from there. Bro, just want to say I absolutely love you to bits. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for sharing your story, what you do, how you help your clients. It's your energy, man. It's your energy. It's like your vibe. And every time that we either have a conversation or we send each other voice notes, it's just, I've always got a big smile on my face. So I just want to say I appreciate you. And man, I'm just glad that we are in the same world and we're doing what we love. So yeah, thank you for everything, bro.
No, super appreciative. Thanks for making the time to connect as well, brother. Appreciate you too.